Hi. Welcome to the My Big Easy Home live show. Last week I promised that this week I would tell a story. For those who don't know, I used to be a tour guide in the French Quarter, and I give a food tour. And so one of my favorite stories to tell on that tour I'm going to share with you all today. First, real quick, I just want to let you know, I do put out a newsletter every week that includes events on New Orleans, featured businesses, featured properties. I've got links to all of the events on there. So if you are interested in receiving a list of local events in your inbox every week, I will put a link to sign up for that in the comments, and you can sign up for that if you want. I think that's all for kind of business kind of information. Okay, so I was a tour guide, I gave a food tour, and one of my favorite things to do on this tour was take groups into Antoine's restaurant. Antoine's restaurant is the oldest restaurant in the city of New Orleans. It's on St. Louis Street in the French Quarter, right across from Leah's Pralines. And it was founded in 1840 by Antoine Aucitor, who at 19 years old moves to New Orleans from France and then proceeds to open essentially the first true French restaurant in the city of New Orleans. Antoine's is still owned and operated by descendants of Antoine Aucitor, and it has been from the day it opened. So Antoine's restaurant is the oldest continuously family-owned and operated restaurant in the United States. The restaurant has 14 dining rooms, most of which you would reserve for a private dinner, which is great right now because it's social distancing, makes it nice to just kind of have a private space for you and the folks you're dining with. But these dining rooms all have names, and 3 of them are named for Mardi Gras cruise. One of those is the 12th Night Revelers. 12th Night Revelers were one of the first crews in New Orleans. So today we think of Mardi Gras, we think of big parades, and this was a relatively new thing in 1870. Crew of Comus comes on scene and starts doing this in 1857, starts this tradition, and then other crews begin to follow. But like even Rex, we know one of the oldest crews in town, doesn't start until 1870. So 12th Night Revelers are the second oldest Mardi Gras crew in the city. And 1870 is their inaugural year. They are going to have a parade, they're going to have a dinner, and they are going to do something that Comus never did, and that is they are going to elect a Mardi Gras Queen. So women were not participating in Mardi Gras during this time. It was not allowed for women to be a part of this. And 12th Night Revelers are gonna kind of buck the system, right? So they're going to crown a Queen of Mardi Gras at this event. And you can imagine that for all of the women who are on the guest list, this is a super exciting thing. Not only would they be the queen of the 12th Night Revelers, they would essentially be the queen of Mardi Gras. It was big. And so they did what women do when women, get invited to a fancy party. They went and bought all of these new dresses. Fancy brocades and silks and beadings and big tall plumes for their hats, and they really did it up big. And so the night of the event comes. 12th Night Revelers have just thrown this massive parade. It was a huge success. The men are pissed, and I mean like in the English sense, right? Like they are drunk. So they show up at this dinner, and the idea was that they were going to use a king cake to elect the queen. Okay, so back up a little Mardi Gras history. If you don't know what Mardi Gras is, it is the beginning of, Mardi Gras Day is 40 days before Lent. It's the day of indulgence, and here in New Orleans, we start celebrating that indulgence period on January 6th, the Epiphany. And the Epiphany is when the 3 wise men followed a shiny, shiny star in the sky, and they found a baby in a manger, and they declared him very, very special, and they gave him a bunch of aromatic resins, and we call that the Epiphany, right? And that begins Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Epiphany can be traced back to pagan holidays, and so can the king cake, which is the traditional food that the French and Spanish and even before them would eat during this celebratory time. So the king cake as we know it has a plastic baby inside, and in the old days it was a coin or a bean, but that coin and bean represented baby Jesus. And when you ate the cake, you were like the wise men looking for the Holy Child, and when you found it, you were the king of the day. You got to wear a crown, everybody at the party doted on you, and you got to host the party the next year. So the idea was they were going to pass this cake around with a golden bean inside, and the woman who found the bean in her piece of cake was going to be crowned the Queen of Mardi Gras. This is a very clever idea, but they were drunk. And so instead of passing the cake around like gentlemen would, they just started dropping the cake on the women's laps. They dumped it on their heads. They tossed it around, very sort of rude and crude. And the women are shocked, and now they're pissed in the American sense. Like, they are not happy. They just bought all of these brand new dresses. They are now ruined. They're covered in butter and flaky pastry, and the bean is never found. It either flies into a corner, or the woman who found it tucked it up into her corset and never said anything, because the women did not want to endorse that kind of behavior. And so no queen ultimately was crowned in 1870. But they did do it again the next year with a king cake, and my understanding, a golden locket on the inside. So like really smart guys, they bought jewelry to make up for their mishap. And the Queen of Mardi Gras was elected in 1871. So that is the story of the 12th Night Revelers and the almost first Queen of Mardi Gras. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Next week, next Friday, weather permitting, I will be out about town somewhere. And I don't know what that's going to look like or where I'm going to be. But if you catch me at 3 p.m., I will be out somewhere in the city. So have a great weekend. If you enjoyed the story, let me know in the comments. Only nice things, please. The world's angsty enough. So I hope to talk to you guys all soon, and I'll catch you another time. Bye-bye.